On this next episode, we were going to ask the question, what happened to Brenda Condon? Brenda Condon was a 28-year-old bartender at a bar called Carl's Bad Tavern on Route 550, was 2 miles north of Belfont, Pennsylvania. She went missing February 27th of 1991. Let's see if we can make some sense out of this on this episode. This is an interview with someone that knew Brenda's boyfriend, Mr. Greg Palazzari. Now, he was the owner of a snowco in State College, downtown State College, that was called Greg's Snowco. He worked there with his mother. And she also knew Mr. Carl Easterling. Now, Carl was the owner of Carl's Bad Tavern, in which Brenda was bartending the night she disappeared. So this individual, Marie, will give us some insights on these two individuals. So tell me about what you know about Carl's Bad Tavern and Crazy Carl.
I was really young when Carl owned that particular tavern. I had not in there, but my mom was, along with her boyfriend, who was friends with Carl. And of course, he was also friends with Greg.
Greg Palazzari.
Yes.
Have you ever been to Greg's Snowco?
Yes, I have been.
Did you ever notice there was a back room?
I did.
Or was that just folklore?
No, there was an actual office back there, and people did come and go. My mother's boyfriend worked there, and from time to time, I would have to stop in to speak to him.
Was it behind the Sunoco, where that little slab is?
It was in the corner of like the inside of the shop, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so it wasn't on the outside.
It's been a very long time though.
Yeah.
And his mom usually was in the front because she took money like at the main register and stuff.
Yeah.
In 1995, I moved to State College, and I did know of Greg through Mom's boyfriend, and we used to all go to the same bars together. And Greg was always very nice to me, and he was a very sociable man. And people did used to say things to him about Brenda, and it would make him very angry.
I can imagine if you weren't involved directly.
Right. He, always maintained his innocence.
Well, he may have very well been innocent.
He may have been.
I mean, as far as Brenda's disappearance, it could have been a patron of the bar that
It could have been.
was involved.
It could have been somebody who she knew through her cleaning business. It was in Williamsport and State College. She had also cleaned for people in Clearfield. She was well known for cleaning very well and doing a very good job. She was a hard-working girl, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And even Greg had said that she was.
So let me ask you, have you ever frequented any bars in that area?
Absolutely.
By chance?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
for
really?
many years.
Tell me about it.
So I went to the bar that was Carl's Bad Tavern when it was Spectators. I went there all the time, and I would also go down the road into Zion to a place that was called Michael's Tavern. And there was something that I think is a little strange now that I'm older and think about it. The pictures that were in the newspaper, there was 3 suspects. The one in the middle resembles a man who used to come into those bars every evening, probably from maybe anywhere from 10 o'clock to 11, 11:30 or midnight. He always wore dark blue, kind of fitted like Dickies work jacket without a name on it. It had a zipper, and he wore dark blue like work. The one in the middle resembles a man who used to come into those bars every evening, probably from maybe anywhere from 10 o'clock to 11, 11:30 or midnight. He always wore dark blue, kind of fitted like Dickies work jacket without a name on it. It had a zipper, and he wore dark blue like work pants, almost like a factory thing, like maybe he had worked at Ciro or Sapelco or one of those places over there, which if they had 3 shifts, he could have rotated out at that time of night,
Right.
frequently. And I remember I was pretty social when I was young, so I did try to talk to this guy. But there was always something that creeped me out because he never really wanted to socialize with anyone, not even men. He didn't really drink. He never got anything to eat, but he just observed everyone all the time. But I think over the years, because I saw him so many places, I would even see him at the Doty Hotel in Bellefonte. I would see him all around in that area over there, just walking around the bar and staring at everyone. And there was always something about him that creeped me out because he never really made much eye contact. He was just very into watching everyone.
That's interesting.
And sometimes it seemed like he always stayed until the very end. And I thought, well, maybe he's trying to look out for the bartenders because there were a lot of female bartenders at these places. Maybe he was looking out for them. Maybe he knew them. But he never really talked. And in the times I tried to get him to talk, with small talk, he just ignored me, just looked at me like, go away. And I thought that was weird because if you're going out to be social, usually, you'd think that you would just say hello or something. And he didn't even talk to the older women who were there that were more of his age. It was just very creepy to me.
And you say he didn't drink, or he just had...
He did not. I never saw him really drinking, an alcoholic beverage, maybe a Pepsi or something every now and then, yeah.
So he would go to the bar and not drink any alcohol.
He wouldn't. Maybe just sip on a soda. Maybe the band was still playing. He didn't even pay much attention to the bands when it was spectators when I was there. And at Michael's Tavern, there were no bands. He just kind of stand there and watch everybody mingling around the bar and playing pool and darts. Michael's Tavern was a much smaller venue. And it's something else now, but I'm not quite sure what the name of it is now, or who owns it anymore. But I always thought it very strange that he was always all around that area just staring at everyone.
Can you say he resembled the sketch?
The middle sketch, yes. Yes. But I do not know his name. Nobody really hung out with him. The other men didn't really talk to him. It was just kind of bizarre.
Yeah, that sounds kind of odd. Usually when people go to a bar, they
Yes.
either socialize or have a beer.
Yeah, and it looked like
couple.
he had no interest in being social whatsoever.
I wonder what his motive was.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well,
I
he
don't
was-
remember, I should remember, what kind of car he was driving to these places. But I don't remember. And usually I do remember that kind of thing, but I don't.
So
I
he
just
might,
don't.
so maybe he was a socially awkward individual.
Maybe. I mean, maybe somebody who owned one of these bars might remember him because he was there all the time. And I always thought it was kind of weird in the paper that nobody knew who he was because it always said in the papers that they weren't identified. But yet I saw them there all the time. But I guess it could be the same way. They just didn't know who he was. He was very secretive.
And this was one of the people that was seen leaving the bar with the people that had the sketch done.
Yes, that is what I have read and heard. So, and it's not uncommon. He used to stay a lot of times until the place was like shutting down. At the time, I just thought maybe he was trying to help out the people, you know, make sure that the girls were safe.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he knew them, or maybe he was one of their fathers.
Does it seem odd that she would be closing by herself on...
Yes, most bars don't do that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Because the new owner of Robin Hood said he would never have somebody
right
alone.
And most bars don't. I mean, when I used to hang out in that area, there was always, you know, somebody in the kitchen or something. You know, nobody was ever alone.
I think it's weird that Crazy Carl didn't remember if he had a cook or a kitchen back then, but the building hasn't changed much.
No, it really hasn't.
So they did have a kitchen back then.
Yes, they did.
Kind of odd.
Yeah, that is kind of odd.
Anything else you want to add?
Nope, that is all.
Now, that concludes the interview with Marie. It has been determined that the man in the middle is also the man on the left. And that would make two men that left the bar that night. And these are the last two people that have seen Brenda Condon alive. The state police said they talked to everyone in the bar except one person. Who that person is probably one of these two individuals. Now, you would think that both of these gentlemen knew that Brenda Condon went missing. It was all over the newspapers, it was in the news, it was on television. The locals were all talking about it. And one of these people is still unknown. They haven't come forward and identified themselves and cleared their name or anything else. So to me, that's a red flag that maybe they had something to do with it. So that's my 2 cents. On the next episode, we will focus on the black-haired gentleman. Thanks for watching.